Every single week, millions of people across America walk into a thrift store, drop off bags of old clothes and furniture, and walk away feeling generous, feeling like they did something good. But what if that warm feeling was exactly what they wanted you to feel? What if behind every donation bin, every smiling volunteer, every "thank you for giving" sign, there was a billion-dollar business machine running at full speed, and you were the one fueling it for free? We are talking about one of the most brilliantly disguised money operations in the history of American finance, a system that gets its inventory completely free, pays some workers as little as $3.50 an hour, ships hundreds of tons of goods overseas every month, and still calls itself a charity. Almost nobody across the United States ever stops to ask how. Until now. And before we go any further, subscribe to my channel because this is exactly the finance story powerful people never want you to hear. It all started in 1902 when Edgar Helms had a beautiful idea: collect unwanted goods from wealthy Boston families, give them to poor workers to repair and resell, and use the profits to pay those same workers a living wage. Pure, elegant charity. That idea eventually became Goodwill Industries. For decades, it was a genuine community lifeline, a business built on compassion, operating across the United States. And then, Wall Street thinking crept in. Not literally, Goodwill remains nonprofit, but the principles of scale, efficiency, and margin optimization took over so completely that today what you walk into barely resembles the original mission. Here's exactly how the money machine works. When you donate to Goodwill, it costs them absolutely nothing, zero cost of goods, the single most powerful advantage any business in finance can have. But here's what they don't tell you. Of every bag donated, only 10 to 20% ever reaches the sales floor. The rest is compressed into massive bales, blocks of clothing weighing hundreds of pounds, and sold by the weight to wholesale buyers worldwide. $2 a pound, shipped by the ton every single month. That blouse you donated, that jacket your father wore, there is a real chance it never helped a single family in your community. Instead, it was bundled, sold, and exported, while the money stayed behind. And the money is massive. Goodwill alone generates over $7 billion in annual revenue across the United States. $7 billion, larger than many companies Wall Street tracks daily. Yet because of its nonprofit status, it pays zero federal income tax. In finance, that is called a perfect business model. Meanwhile, under a little-known legal provision, some Goodwill workers with disabilities are paid as little as $1 an hour. In America, at a billion-dollar operation calling itself a charity. Executives, however, collect seven-figure salaries. The gap between the mission and the money could not be wider. Now, not every thrift store in America operates this way. Hundreds of small, community-driven organizations do extraordinary, genuinely transparent work. Local shelters, church-run stores, grassroots nonprofits where every dollar goes directly back to real people. The thrift store model, at its best, is one of the most beautiful ideas in community finance. The problem is what happens when Wall Street thinking, growth, scale, profit, takes over an institution that was never supposed to be about money. So here's what you do with this. Research before you donate. Organizations like local homeless shelters, Dress for Success, and community-run thrift shops often have far more honest money trails than the major chains. Keep shopping secondhand. The circular economy is genuinely good for America, but understand the business you're participating in and never stop asking questions, because in finance, in business, and in every institution that asks for your trust across the United States, the most powerful thing you can do is refuse to look away. It began as one of the most human ideas in American history, the belief that nothing should go to waste, that one person's discarded item could become another's lifeline. Somewhere between that humble mission and $7 billion in annual revenue, something got lost. Not the clothes, something more valuable, the original point. If this video changed the way you see your next donation, your next thrift store visit, or the finance systems quietly shaping life in the United States, hit that subscribe to my channel button right now. Every week, we bring you the money trails, the business models, and the financial truths that powerful institutions want buried. This community exists for people who refuse to be kept in the dark. You walked in thinking it was charity. Now you know it's business. The only question is, what are you going to do with that knowledge? Stay curious, stay informed, and as always, follow the money.